Of Emma of Normandy, Sir Winston Churchill wrote, "Few women in history have stood at the center of such remarkable converging forces, but another powerful woman stood in her way."
The heart of every woman, rich or poor, high-born or low, is for her children to be successful, for her influence to continue to the next generation and beyond. A mother is driven to make sure her blood survives, and in Queen Emma's case, ruled and reigned. A woman knows what she must do, so she does it. This was certainly the axiom that two of the most powerful women in the 11th century lived by, clung to, and never let go. Emma of Normandy and Elfgifu of Northampton. They were rivals, bitter rivals, in every sense of the word, entwined by jealousy, intrigue, treachery, and likely murder. A tug of war for the throne of England on behalf of their sons and themselves. If ever there were two women more evenly matched, one would be hard-pressed to find them. That's what makes their story so enthralling, their royal battle so compelling. There's even a 1,000-year-old mystery associated with them, woven in linen and crewel. Just 5 kilometers from the D-Day beaches of Normandy, in the charming, virtually unchanged, medieval town of Bayeux, France, is one of the world's greatest historical documents and artistic achievements, the Bayeux Tapestry. A 1,000-year-old strip of cloth, 3/4 the length of a football field, tells the tale of the 1066 Norman conquest of England by William the Conqueror. It is known as a tapestry, but it is not a tapestry, it's an embroidery. Many describe it as an 11th century cartoon strip, but you'll need a Latin dictionary to read the ongoing text above the action and drama played out below. To view this iconic artwork is an unforgettable experience. It brings alive the tumultuous 11th century in living color. Colors as vibrant today as when they were stitched almost 1,000 years ago. A pictorial in thread that vividly shows a world of fierce Saxon and Norman warriors, cunning bishops, ruthless knights, and powerful women. A moving pageant of life in Emma's time, where ships plow the seas, knights ride into battle, where castles, towns, and hawks and hounds set the stage for a drama of dukes and kings. There's even an image of Mont Saint-Michel and its quicksand. Stitched in its story are mysteries, notably the mystery of a prominent woman. Is she Emma of Normandy? Or Emma's great rival for the throne and the love of her second husband, Canute the Great? Elfgifu of Northampton. Only 3 women are depicted in the tapestry, but only one of the 3 women is named. Elfgifa, or Elfgifu, was a popular name in Saxon England, especially for the nobility. No matter their Christian name, Elfgifu was given to all consorts of a Saxon king. There were Elfgifus all over the place. Young Emma was no exception to this rule, but it didn't take long for the bold Norman beauty to insist she be known by her given name, Emma. Surviving charters and deeds from her earliest days in England list Emma as Elfgifu, but in a short time she was listed as Emma. She wasn't going to have it any other way. And speaking of names, we have our Emma to thank for one of the most popular names for girls. It was Emma of Normandy who introduced the name Emma to Europe and England, and thus to America. So if you have an Emma in your family, thank Our Lady with her bones in a box. So who was Elfgifa in the Bayeux Tapestry? Why is she there? As the only named woman, she had to be important. But why? There's no link to her before or after she appears. So why all of a sudden is she there? One thing is likely certain. This lady was involved in some sort of scandal du jour, a prurient scandal of the day that most everyone knew. A small image directly below her in the border of the tapestry is a dead giveaway. Even the unfinished sentence stitched above her is mysterious. A certain cleric and Elfgifa is all it says. It seems, though, that everyone in the 11th century who viewed the tapestry could finish that sentence. Everyone knew who she was and what she did. By her clothes, we know she's a lady of nobility. She stands under an ornate canopy or in an edifice between two pillars. A cleric stands near her. We know he is a man of the cloth by his tonsured head. Behind him on the other side is a church tower. His right arm is extended and touches the head of this mystery lady. Is he blessing her, pushing her, or about to smack her? No one knows. Though the Bayeux tapestry has been around almost 1,000 years and much studied, it still keeps its secrets. Ooh, I love a mystery. In a future podcast, we'll dig into its exciting history and mystery, so stay tuned. Elfgifu of Northampton enters Emma's life and story at a critical point in the Viking conquest of England. At the moment of the irreparable break between Edmund Ironside and Ethelred the Unready that threatened what was left of the fragile peace, we can almost hear Edmund pleading with his father, the king, in the palace. "Father, you must lead the Saxon army to defend England." "I fought these pirates for half my reign," comes the king's reply. "I am tired. I want an end." "The men need courage, father. They must see the king's banner on the field of battle to know you are there." "You call me coward?" "It is not my place to call you anything but king," the prince says. "It is my place to defend that which will be given to me." "They say you have sides of iron, my son," the king replies wearily. "As heir, you must defend the kingdom, but you are not invincible." "Yes, my father, iron may break, but I shall live up to my name. I will stand up to the Vikings as iron. I may be broken, but I shall not rust, except in the grave." No doubt Queen Emma wasn't the only one made privy to the goings-on in the palace, and no doubt Godwin, Earl of Wessex, was never far from any conflict or any opportunity. Godwin knew he was responsible for much of the situation. The massacre of St. Brice's Day was proof enough. But as always, Godwin planned to use the crisis for his advantage and did what he did best, play both sides against the middle. From behind the scenes, the crafty fox began to support the Vikings. In one of the boldest moves of his career, the Earl of Wessex sent a message of goodwill to Sweyn Forkbeard and offered his aid. Godwin reminded Sweyn that as Earl of Wessex, he held the south of England. Godwin then offered to negotiate with Leofric, Earl of Mercia, and the Saxon chiefs of the north, so the whole of England would be Sweyn's. Sweyn did not hesitate to take Godwin up on his offer. Godwin reminded Sweyn that as Earl of Wessex, he held the south of England. Godwin then offered to negotiate with Leofric, Earl of Mercia, and the Saxon chiefs of the north, so the whole of England would be Sweyn's. Sweyn did not hesitate to take Godwin up on his offer. To seal the bond, Godwin arranged an alliance between a powerful Saxon noble of the north and Canute, son of Sweyn Forkbeard, with a bargaining chip, packaged in a provocative form, a voluptuous, raven-haired, green-eyed beauty, Elfgifu of Northampton. Sensuous and seductive, few men resisted the charms of Elfgifu. So different from the golden-haired women with ice-blue eyes from his frozen lands at the top of the world, the Viking prince Canute found her irresistible. Ambitious and alluring, Elfgifu wasted little time in making sure her charms were available. And for Canute, the virile young Viking needed no persuasion to enter into a physical and political union with an impetuous Saxon huntress. By the Danish custom of hand-fast marriage, unrecognized by the English church, Canute was joined with Elfgifu of Northampton. Canute would call her wife. Emma would call her concubine. When news of the alliance reached Winchester, it came with prurient rumors of an English court too long denied excitement and titillation. "Few women can hold a Viking for long," it was said with snickers and whispers. "But have you seen her? "She can handle him," came the lusty laughter, "but can he handle her?" No doubt Queen Emma wished to know more. Unhappily, she would in time. But now the alliance was sealed. North and South aligned. Soon the union of Canute and Elfgifu produced 2 sons, Swin, named for Canute's father, and Harold. History and we would know her youngest son by the name Harold Harefoot, most likely for his great skill in hunting and his talent of swift pursuit of his target. But now a Saxon indeed controlled the game. Godwin, Earl of Wessex, and the Saxon royal family was caught in the middle. Cambridge historian Timothy Bolton writes, "Few sources mention Elfgifu of Northampton, but those that do often do so in contexts which are intriguing and bespeak of a powerful and ruthless Anglo-Saxon noblewoman who played a number of significant roles in the English and Scandinavian political scenes." For Queen Emma, Elfgifu of Northampton was indeed a worthy rival. The pursuit of power by the Saxon family of Elfgifu was birthed many years before Emma came to England. Their influence went back to the early days of the reign of Ethelred the Unready. Close to the king, Elfgifu's father, the Earl of Northampton, served as trusted advisor. Holding great favor, his family was important to Ethelred's control of northern England. By coincidence, in 1002, the year Emma came to England, some unknown intrigue displaced the Earl of Northampton. By order of the king himself, Elfgifu's father was executed and her 2 brothers were blinded. Only she was left, alive and undamaged. All loyalty to the House of Wessex gone, and with it, allegiance to the English crown. Left was a woman whose loyalties no longer lay with Ethelred's England or Emma's. As much for her father and brothers as for herself, Elfgifu of Northampton desired her power back. She held great influence in the North Country and with its nobles. So she looked north, to the land of the Vikings and the Danish royal house. History seems to have forgotten Elfgifu of Northampton, but we won't. We wouldn't dare. As Emma's story moves forward, this Elfgifu will figure prominently. Too prominently, I'd imagine, for Emma's liking. For Emma, she was another obstacle to encounter, another hill for her to climb. But an obstacle Emma had to remove, and a hill she had no choice but to climb. But the Northampton, as Emma might also have called her, would not go quietly. In a future episode called Battle Royal, things will really heat up, for there's little doubt Elfgifu of Northampton had a hand, a major hand, in the brutal death of Emma's son, Alfred the Atheling. Alfred, the throne-worthy one. The underside of a tapestry, even the priceless Bayeux tapestry, is forever jumbled. Emma's tapestry was no exception. Gunwa taught her daughter that embroidery was much like life. Ups and downs of knotted thread, rich colors tangled together, loops and strands twisted in an intricate confusion, a disorderly math of stitches below, necessary to craft a clear image above. "Emma," she told her, "life can be infernally complex. Life, like embroidery, often brings chaos. If the embroiderer looks only to what lies beneath the fabric, there is no clarity of image. The skilled embroiderer brings order from chaos. Never lose the goal, my daughter. It is the top side of the work that completes the craft. The finished image is what matters. So, weave, weave, weave the thread, all our lovers dying dead. Tears and fears for what may be, weave we in the broidery."
Have you been a mentor to someone? Has someone been a mentor to you? Next time, we'll see that Emma was both. We invite you to share the Stones and Bones podcast with those who love history, those who love all things medieval, British, and Viking. Follow Stones and Bones on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive content and to stay up to date on new projects and releases. Don't forget to tag Stones and Bones and use the hashtag SBPodcast so we see your post on social media.